We're here today with
Freddy, Madball.
and Rob from Born for Pain, also tour manager for Madball.
With the mind of a psycho, guess what it's like?
What's unforgivable in the loyalty department? I mean, it's a hard one to pinpoint because it depends on situations. It also depends on people. I mean, being disloyal is something that I have a very hard time with because I try to be a very loyal person. Sometimes you also look at the situation of people, and sometimes you might interpret it as being disloyal, but they might not. And then you got to decide for yourself if you wanna still be hanging around with people, yes or no. It's definitely something that is not black and white. For some people, it's very black and white, but I'm 53 years old, and I've learned in my life that not everything is black and white, and also not in that department. So yeah, it's a case-by-case thing. But in general, loyalty is a very nice thing to have, because when you can count on each other and you can trust people, I think that's one of the most important things in life, to be able to depend on people and know that they got your back in any situation. And I'm not talking about necessarily it being a negative situation, but also positively, that you can count on people, and you can always call someone to talk to or help you out, so that's very important. And this goes beyond the band. This is also in personal life.
What he's saying, it's just in life, loyalty is just one of those things that it's like a very important, one of the fundamental things. It's big in our scene, of course, because it's spoken about in the lyrics and things like that, but it's actually like, you can't really speak, at least for me, I can only speak for myself, and I think Rob can attest to this, but like, you're only gonna write about something that you live, or something that you believe in, or something that you're gonna, follow through with. And in hardcore, there's always a lot of honor, respect, loyalty. Those themes have always been interweaved with other things. For some people, it's a good lyrical topic, but for some people, it's like it's part of our ethos. It's like a real thing. And like he said, it's beyond just hardcore. It extends to our family. It extends to our extended family, brotherhoods. It's so broad. Loyalties, you know what I'm saying? Like it's essential. Like respect, and all that. Not to say that people don't make mistakes in their life, or people don't do something and then go, oh man, that was, We're here to learn as well. That's life. Yeah. We're here to learn. But the root, the base of someone should always have certain principles.
I know it's not as common with people maybe, but then you also want to try to be a good person, and good to your friends, and then that comes with it. So if people experience a lot of disloyalty in their life, maybe you should go back and review your friendships,
Yeah, reevaluate.
Yeah, reevaluate.
I mean, it might not be common, but in our world it sort of is. And again, I think it's also a family-based thing. It's like instilled from your family, and then it just also happens that this scene, this culture we come from is very family-oriented and very like, DIY, we help each other out. So then that just sort of, the same things that principles that you have that were taught to you by your family, they sort of leak into the ethos of hardcore, and that's why when you were asking, why is loyalty such a big deal? It's because it just comes from all of that. And but some people practice it and some don't. Some people talk about it, but don't really follow through. And so you're only as good as your word goes so far, but then it's your actions that really cement.
To be honest, I don't think they're like weird things or like crazy things, or like, no one takes a blood oath to be in one of these bands. You have an identity as a band and what you believe in. Loyalty is one of them, and there's then other things you believe in. As a band, you know that you stand for a certain amount of things, and those things become important. So you expect everybody in the band to be aligned with that, and if they're not, well, then maybe, then
Time to part ways.
Yeah, it's time to part ways. So I mean, and this goes for you can't play the music right, That's a code. You
it
got to
could be
play the music
it could
right.
be a creative thing.
Yeah.
It could be so many things. I mean,
It could be like if you wanna write punk songs and I say, well, I'd like to write more metalcore songs. Well, then that could be a code, but it's not something that I break a friendship over. But it's a certain line that diverses, but also in ideas and beliefs. And also the way you do things. Like the way you present yourself, or even like
that's a big one.
very practical things, like you go to a festival, and what are the things we do when we get there? Who's going to talk to the technical people? Who's going to talk to the representatives? Like how do you behave? Like how do you deal with people? I mean, if I had someone in a band who's an asshole and is an asshole to people at the show, for example, here at Sunset Bar, and they go out and be an asshole to Muffy,
the bartender,
then they would get a talking to, and if that happens a couple of times, well, then they might have to leave the band. But I think those are really normal things that maybe a lot of bands should have, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think you get presented with like a paper of rules.
No.
It's like kind of unwritten and kind of known, and the more established the band is, obviously, the more people know kind of how they get down and how they roll and how they operate. And so, like with us, like the most important thing, especially now for us, is like transparency. Like, just speak your mind. Say what's on your mind. Negative, positive, whatever it is. Say what's on your mind. You know what I mean? Because harboring things and then having ideas about things, and maybe you don't have the full picture of what you're thinking about, but you don't want to express it. So that just creates this kind of weird, toxic barrier. And it spreads to everyone in the camp. And, right now, like, everyone in my camp knows transparency. From TM to the guys in the band to the guys selling the shirts, everybody. Like, speak up. If you made a mistake, speak up. You did something, you lost a piece of equipment, anything, whatever it is, just say what it is. We'll figure it out. I would rather honesty and transparency and straightforwardness. I prefer that over like weird dealings and like covert stuff and like not saying something and then I'm 22 euros short on the shirt. I'm not going to say anything until they realize it. That looks like you're stealing. It's an example that doesn't happen with us because we have good people, but it's just an example. I'm using that as an example. So, yeah, these are rules that are not presented to people, but are like common courtesy stuff, like common etiquette. It's like, behave yourself. You're representing not just yourself, you're representing all of us. Be respectful, be cool, play your show. Don't be a jerk off. Be honest about yourself. Be honest, keep our thing honest. And that's that. Easy.
Yeah, and it's like he says, it's not written down protocols that you get handed when you get in a band. Yeah. Not for Born for Pain and not for Madball. But when you get into we're both established bands, so when you get in the band, you probably know what the band is about and what it represents. So there's a whole lot of, I think every band has a lot of unwritten rules. I can't speak for everybody because some of them might be fucked up, but I think we got stand-up rules with stand-up stuff and just normal things. So just trying to be, as sometimes maybe against common belief, just try to be nice people.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Respect goes a long way.
Yeah.
Really?
And that's a big one. Respect is a big part of an unwritten protocol.
Even in our world, very much.
Oh,
a lot of egos, a lot of. There's a lot of that in the music world, in any creative space, in life.
Yeah.
A lot of egomaniacs, a lot of narcissists running around out there. There's a lot of people that just, they don't, they'll knock you and your whole family over to get to that thing that they're trying to get over there. You know, there's a lot of people that are like that in this world, but yeah, we don't operate like that in our regular life or in our band life, or, it's consistency. It's like we are who we are right now, and we are when you see us at home with our families and whatnot. I mean, this is who we are.
Yeah, we are no one different when we get off the stage. We're exactly the same. What you see is what you get.
Yep, always.